Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. What is this? We're still in January, right? We haven't skipped that far ahead of the year. We're January 9th, 2025. I had to say that really slowly so that I didn't accidentally say 2024, which is exactly what my brain would have tried to default to, no doubt about it. I'm just happy that I'm not still in school and having to go through the 3-week period of writing the date in the top right corner of my loose leaf paper, fucking it up, and writing the last year every single time until sometime in February. I know that's relatable. I know some of you bastards out there did the same thing I did. Wait, hold on. Why are you not? Wait, what? You're currently just cartoon Jeff, Mr. Black. Just give me
Okay.
Give me a moment there. Why is that trying to capture? There we go. Gotcha. You're back. In all your glory. But yeah, it's another technicalalpha podcast. Glad you could join us today. This is technically, I think this is the first of the new year, Mr. Black. We didn't get a chance to do last week. We just had some time for, excuse me, for our StarCraft casting, which was a week, by the way. That was a week. That was a bang. Now, luckily, the community seems to love it when we get some true dumpster fire content. So we got lucky on that one. But it was definitely a week, which was great. You know, we had it coming. We talked about it during the cast, but like the week previous for fire, everything was incredible. It was an absolute banger after banger. I even won a game in Maximus Black Says. It was literally the perfect week, and we followed it up with pure, unadulterated ass. Just terrible, terrible stuff. But people seem to enjoy it, so it was still a dub at the end of the day, nevertheless. But yeah, we got another great show lined up for you this week. Glad to be back. Glad to be keeping you young bucks busy to and from work, or maybe you're just at home and, you get the luxury of listening to and watching stuff on the side while you're earning all of that extra shareholder money for whatever company that you just so happen to be gracing with your time. I mean, it's the new year, so obviously news, not exactly fucking flowing like water right now, but we have a couple things that we could talk about, and of course we'll have the tech support section to float at whatever time we might need to come up with. But before we get started, of course, the most important question of the week and the first of the new year. Mr. Black, how's your week?
It is okay. Just another week, I guess. Yeah. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Just been chilling.
I'm scared to ask, but I'm going to anyway. Because I only ask a couple times a year. Is RP still on fire right now? Because it was on fire for a hot minute there, Mr. Black. Shit was like, I mean, from the outside, it looked like the whole thing was literally going up in smoke. But that happens once in a while anyway. How are we right now? What is the status of RP currently?
Semi on fire. It's just semi on fire.
Controllable fire.
Yeah, controllable. So,
unlike California, which by the way, we have a lot of viewers out in California. And so hopefully, any and all of you and your family and your friends, if they are near or in, God forbid, the affected areas of what can only be described as literally the 7th, possibly 8th circle of hell in California right now. Hopefully everyone is safe. That's the important part. I know I've got a couple of friends that live out there, and every time there's one of these fires, the first thing comes to mind is fuck. Now, California's huge, so I always forget like how far some of my friends are from literally any of these fires, because California's the size of some countries. But this one's just in Hollywood, straight up. Like, I'm waiting for the Hollywood sign to friggin' burn to the ground at this rate. Shit's been crazy down there. But yeah, all the best to everyone out there during a completely insane time. Beyond that, my week was also pretty much another week. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals on stream. I guess this is technically, I don't think it's been a full 2 weeks. We'll call it like a week and change off and on. I'll do like any kind of offline stuff first to get it out of the way, and then I'll hop on and I'll do 4 or 5 hours of Marvel Rivals, which is about all I can stomach at any given time of any competitive game. It's about 5 hours before I start losing my mind. I have no hair left to lose, so it's just my mind that leaves me after about 5 hours. And this is no different. I mean, honest to God, dude, I don't know if you've watched or seen, or I know you haven't played it yourself. I doubt it. But remember when, I don't know, maybe you, and I'll have to ask you this, because I know you did play Overwatch a little bit back in the day when it first came out. Remember when Overwatch came around, one of the things that kind of stood out was that, despite the fact that there was that typical kind of, expected toxicity for a team competitive video game, like you're expecting some toxicity, it still felt like a vacation compared to League of Legends, like comparatively speaking. Marvel Rivals is not that. Marvel Rivals is not a vacation. It's just League of Legends. The toxicity on the teams, the type of players that you play with, the rage quitters, the AFKers, the people that never shut the fuck up in chat, the ping spammers, all of it's there. The whole cast and crew have arrived for Marvel Rivals, and it's fucking rough out there in those streets. So definitely a game that if you're going to rank, or even just in quick play, for God's sake, find like one other person to play with. Just give yourself like, shared experience of torture, and at least you can work together with 1 or 2 other people directly. Because when you're out there in the solo meme, oh my God, it's quite literally like League of Legends. It's the same kind of hell that you get trapped in League. Otherwise, I will say, as far as quality, like the quality of the game itself, especially since this game has only been out for about a month, for a competitive shooter, this is like the closest thing to the watermark that we used to have in gaming many years ago. Meaning, it came out, it didn't, like, the servers weren't crippled under the weight of 20 million people trying to play it. All of the characters play uniquely and are well made and are fun. It looks great. It doesn't run particularly well. It's definitely not optimized, but it's also Unreal Engine 5, which means all games on Unreal Engine 5 run like shit. This is no different. But that's like the only knock against it. Everything else is and it showed up on the scene with everything. We're talking like, hey, do you want to see the top players in the world on a leaderboard day one? Do you want to watch their games, their recent games, to check out replays and shit? You can do that. You want to spectate your friends on a 30-second delay and be able to scrub the timeline in real time. So if you got in late on the game and you want to go back and watch the party, you can do that and then skip back to live and watch it live. All that, and it's seamless. Everything is there, and it runs basically as flawlessly as you could hope for. The developer is constantly putting out correspondence with the community, talking about what's coming up, what concerns they've listened to from the community, and which ones they can tackle and are tackling. What new characters are already coming up. They've got the Fantastic Four are the first on the block, so we've got a couple of Fantastic Four characters dropping this month. They're firing on all cylinders. And I got to be honest, I forgot what it was like to have a game launch in this state. I completely forgot. We haven't had games launch in a relatively playable state in so long. Honest to God, I forgot what it was like. And so from that perspective alone, I'll give them their flowers. Like, you've managed to launch a game that has tens of millions of players right off the rip. It's pretty much fucking stable. Everything plays well. Everything is fun. All of the characters are great. People are talking about how they don't care if they have to play Phil because they like at least one character from every type of position the game has. So I gotta glaze these guys a little bit because fucking hell. And of course, the funniest thing for me, I have to say, is that this is Nexon, I think, is the developer for this. Chinese developer. Well-known Chinese developer. And clearly they spent a ton of money on this game, because it's Marvel for one, so the licensing fees alone must be It's be insane. That being said, these guys are doing Marvel better than Marvel is doing Marvel, and certainly better than the North American developers have done with the Marvel license in I don't know how long. All the characters look fucking fantastic. They all look like comic book versions of themselves. They look unique. But they're also all the homage. They are really deep diving on all of the variations of costumes and like the multiverse types for all these characters. They're putting the Western developers into the fucking ground. It looks horrible. If you compare like remember what was it called? Marvel Avengers or whatever, which was one of the more recent Marvel games in the West that kind of bombed. If you look at there's a comparison Reddit post of comparing the characters from that versus the characters in this game, and even if you account for the difference in like artistic style, where one's going for more like semi-realism and the other one's going for this kind of cel-shaded cartoon shit, it is night and day. It's bad. It's bad out here in these streets. Anyway, I digress. I've been playing a lot of it, and I've been having a pretty good time. But it's still like any other competitive game. I can only play it for so long, and then my stress level just early grave type shit, and I have to walk away. But other than that, good stuff. And that's pretty much been my week. And now it's time. Mr. Black, it's your favorite
I've seen it.
You saw it. You're looking at it. You saw it. You pulled it up.
I died on the inside when I saw it. I was like, oh, fuck. Here we go.
I would love, but it will give you a chance to talk a little bit about one of your favorite things, and that's businesses ripping people off. So I will at least allow you to get some of that in there, even though the rest of it is not your thing. Now, I didn't get too technical with it either. I tried to make it, as non-technical as possible. So we got to see Nvidia's, it's that time of year, we got to see Nvidia's and everyone else in the tech industry really, at the recent event. All of their new and upcoming stuff. So for Nvidia, their new series of graphics cards, and everything that comes with them. AMD, same idea, except they focused for now more on their CPUs, and I guess they wanted to wait for Nvidia to do their GPU ship before they did theirs. I don't know if they were just strategic or what. Excuse me. But we got to see that stuff. And I gotta be honest, I've already tweeted a couple of times about this shit this week before they even made these announcements. But I'm just gonna say, Jensen can go fuck himself in that cheap knockoff fucking jacket that he had on that stage. Go fuck himself. Only Todd Howard can get away with wearing obscenely odd bomber jackets. Nvidia is fucking everyone up. In possibly the most anti-consumer way imaginable. And they have been for a long time, but now it's just getting like bad. And understandably so, because if you're a megalomaniac that's running a company that has had their valuation skyrocket fucking 4,000-fold in the last couple of years, and now you're worth more money than God, you'd probably, many people fall victim to that, and you just double, triple, or quadruple down on all of the worst possible practices to further your position until the bubble bursts, and then you have to sell the jacket that you wore on stage in Las Vegas. That's kind of how this whole thing goes. So, NVIDIA's new graphics cards are coming up. We already know, anyone that's been buying any computer parts in the last while, the last couple of generations for NVIDIA have been rough in the sense that they are not really improving dramatically the performance while they are charging comedic amounts of money for the graphics cards before they even hit retailers, like the suggested retail price. And then, of course, that price goes up significantly more. for not a hell of a lot of performance increase. And specifically, their VRAM has stayed the same now for like fucking 8 years, even though it hasn't been adequate enough for most of their cards for just as long. They're doing it again, but they're doing it harder now, Mr. Black. So, I know you don't personally use this feature, because you don't have to for what you're doing, but I'm sure you've heard of it or seen it in a graphics setting. It's called DLSS. And what this thing does is essentially, it uses some AI cores that are on the graphics card, separate from the rest of the internals. And it uses the power of hallucinogenic drugs to take your 30 frames per second and turn them into 90, 3 times the number of frames displayed on your monitor. Now, the downsides to that, as you might imagine, is that there are some artifacts and shit that come with that, because you can only do so much hallucinating before shit goes sideways. Just like in real life, if you take one too many mushrooms and you're not with somebody sober in the room, something's gonna go wrong eventually. But wait, they have more. This time, it's not just 3 times the frames, 4 times the frame. They were showing their new cards getting like 20-something FPS and interpolating that shit to like 160. Just numbers that don't even make sense. That's more than 4 times, I understand. But like, numbers that don't even make sense. To the point where one of my favorite comments I've seen so far, somebody's response to the presentation was, pretty soon games are going to ship with just 1 frame, and then your graphics card's going to hallucinate the rest of the game for you, and that's going to be the entire experience. And then somebody else said, I wish Nvidia could also frame generate more dollars out of my bank account so I could afford some of these cards. But yeah, so that's their new thing. DLSS 4 is launching alongside the 50 series cards. It will not be compatible with 40 series cards. And just to, really drill that point home, currently the biggest, baddest dick on the block is the 4090, the Nvidia 4090. And they're hamstringing that fucker so hard it's not even fun. They went on stage and Jensen said, hey, the 5070, so the 70 series of these cards, which is typically the middle of the pack, going to be more powerful than the 4090. I said, word, Jensen? Go on? He said, yeah, and he went on to explain how it works, and I said, oh, so what you mean is that you're not providing DLSS 4 on the 4090, but you are on the 5070, so that the 5070 is hallucinating more frames than the 4090 can put out, but in reality, the 5070 is not even remotely fucking close to the power of the 4090. Oh, I see where we're going with this. And so they are. The 5070 has 12 gigs of VRAM. Now, I know that doesn't mean anything to you, Mr. Black. Doesn't mean anything to you at all. You don't even know what VRAM is.
I know what virtual RAM is. Holy shit.
12 gigs of VRAM was a lot of VRAM when I still had hair. Okay? That's how long ago 12 gigs of VRAM was actually worth talking about. 12 gigs of VRAM is literally barely enough to do high-end graphics at 1440p. In some games. It's pushing it. I know Skyrim mod lists that can't run on 12 gigs of fucking goddamn VRAM. Shit is a hurting amount. And they're putting that on the 5070, which was going to sell apparently for over $500 US, which means it will be like 800 Canadian dollars for 12 gigs of VRAM. Shit is heinous. It's insane. The 5080, which will be probably $1,200 or $1,300 Canadian, about 800 and something, I think, American, comes with 16 gigs of VRAM. For $1,200, you are getting 2015 levels of impressive VRAM. What the fuck? You've then, just so you understand that they're fucking you in the ass, the 5090, the biggest dickus, the one that is replacing the 4090, comes with 32 gigs of VRAM. So they double the VRAM from the 5080. You know damn well they could have taken that VRAM and shuffled it down the list to give the 5070 16 gigs, the 5080-24 and the 5090-32, but nah, Jensen said not today. I need another fucking fake ass imprinted cow's leather jacket for next time I walk up on stage in Las Vegas. So they're fucking you. They're charging you insane amounts of money. They're telling you it's more powerful. It's not. The cards are 30% bigger, use 30% more power. I'm just fucking ballparking, but this is essentially what you're looking at. 30% more power and cost 30% more money in some instances. You're getting fucked. All they're doing is pushing AI-generated frames for more money, which is way cheaper for them, by the way, than actually attempting to make better graphics cards. This is fucking infinitely cheaper because they're already dumping all their money into AI anyway to pitch to business partners about all the AI shit that they're doing so that we can speed run using all available electricity all at once just so that the average person can go to ChatGPT 7.9 and ask them, what's the recipe for pancakes? I fucking hate it. And what's making matters worse, and I'm going to eventually ask you how you feel about this, and it'll be 5 sentences or less, I know, but I got to get on this. I got to get off my chest. I also got to say, fuck Unreal Engine 5. I fucking hate it. That thing barely runs Fortnite well. Barely. And they're the makers of the goddamn engine. And unfortunately, because of the state of the wider video game market, companies are being forced to change to Unreal Engine 5 because all of the new developers coming out of school that they can pay the lowest amount of money for so that they can make shittier and shittier games, they only know Unreal Engine 5. And it costs them too much money to train them on an in-house engine. So everyone's changing to Unreal Engine 5. We just saw it with Halo. We saw it with CD Projekt Red moving in with their next Witcher game, as far as I know. Everyone is now hopping on Unreal Engine 5. Less and less people going towards things like Unity, for example. And unfortunately, Unreal Engine 5 runs like ass. It's dog shit. And so you get this doubling effect. Unreal Engine 5 is bad. Developers don't know how to optimize it. They don't have the time or money to do so. Nvidia comes in, swoops in. Don't worry, AI-generated frames. You only need like 7 frames per second. We'll get you all the way up to 60. It's going to look like Vaseline smeared ass cheeks, but by God, it'll be 60 frames per second. And I fucking hate it. The games market is down bad. And I'd say it's down bad in 4K, but what it actually is it's down bad in 960p, upscaled to 4K, and then frame genned up to 60 FPS. Mr. Black.
Wow, it's quite the joke.
This doesn't
layered there. That's what you did there.
This doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form, but to get you involved. After all of the memeing I just went through, the ground floor, the reality of this is they're charging way more money for less performance that costs more power draw. Their power bills are literally going to be, they're going to look at their new power bill after they buy these cards and go, wait, what? What is your take on just the business side of this in general? I know that, just what is your general take on that, Mr. Black?
I mean, I don't know enough here. You just went through a whole bunch of stuff. I know there's obviously a very clear bias coming from you, so I don't really know exactly
To make it clear, I also hate AMD right now. I hate both of them.
No, I get it, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily your bias necessarily against and maybe it is against Nvidia as a whole, but might be just your disdain for their practice here, right?
Yes.
So I don't know enough. I look at this sort of thing as a normal consumer, which is the vast majority of everybody out there.
Why I'm interested, yeah.
Yeah, is when you tell me the graphics card is $800 or $1,300 for the other one, or $1,400, $1,500, $2,000. My last graphics card I bought, I think, was $2,000.
Which is $2,000 US is what the 5090 will be. So $3,000 Canadian. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever the case may be, but the 5090 is the big dog, right? It's the newest.
Yes, that is the big
biggest
dick.
So like when I hear this stuff, for me as like an everyday consumer who doesn't purchase graphics card every day, I buy one like once every 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
None of this means anything to me. I mean, I'm just gonna keep it a buck, because if I'm going into the world of buying a graphics card, which I might actually need one here pretty soon, because I got my racing sim being set up here in a couple weeks, and I'm running it all off one PC.
You're not going to want to use, just ahead of time, you're not going to want to use DLSS when you're doing your racing sim, because it adds input latency. And if you're doing racing sims, last thing you want,
it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. They'll worry about all that shit. I'm not one of these technical heads. I just want the shit to run. You know, I already know what I'm getting myself into when it comes to price. So it's like, I hear $1,400 for a graphics card. I go, okay, yeah. I mean, sure. When it comes to the specs, in terms of like what it's like in comparison to the last generation or whatever, it's irrelevant to me, because I already know whatever graphics card I buy is going to be infinitely better than the 2080 Ti or 2080 Ti that I have running in my computer right now, which is totally fine for everything that I do. Even the newer games that come out, I have no problem playing the games. Yeah, I might not be able to play them on like fucking a 4K monitor and super good ultra quadruple, HD. I don't know. But like, dude, it's whatever to me. I get to play the game, it runs fine. I get 60 plus frames. It's all good. So yeah, for me, it means nothing to me. I'm just being.
Yeah, no, I know it does. Yeah, which I knew that was the case before I asked the question. But like, let me reframe it this way, I guess. So let's say what's the best direct analogy that I can think of here? Let's say you bought a
car.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of which car I want to go with here. Let's say that you bought a Toyota Civic R at some point in the late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in there, 2006 maybe, when it was considered like the peak of like Honda's reliability and all of that shit. They still make the R. VTEC. They still make the R now. But like with many cars, especially ones like Toyota and Honda, where their reliability has become far sketchier now than it did in the past, but they're still riding on that marketing strategy. If you are sitting on one yourself and you have it, and you're looking at the new one, you're going, well, if I do this, I'm going to move, and this is just, I'm just making shit up for the sake of the analogy here, but let's say you're moving, instead of having a 2.5 liter, they move you to a 1.8 turbo. So no naturally aspirated. You're now at a 1.8 turbo, and you know that you're going to ride that car for about 4 years, and you're going to have to replace some shit because it's a 1.8 turbo. And those things don't last very long because they're blowing the fuck out of the engine regardless of who's the one putting it in the engine bay. You also know that you're getting lower quality bucket seats than perhaps you had in the past, but they're charging more money now because it's the newer version. And it looks a little nicer on the outside. And yeah, like kind of like it runs a little faster, but it's not much. And it's a lot of trade-off for not something that, for something that should be newer and much better, but they're not doing it because they're trying to because they're abusing their position in the market. There's not a lot of competition for the R. And so they can just kind of shoehorn a bunch of their spare parts into this bitch, polish it real nice.
Kind of like an Apple product, right?
Yeah.
Probably would have been a better analogy.
Yeah, like the current iPhone is being blasted for being nearly identical or worse than the previous model, but charging more money for it. And we know that Apple knows to a degree because they put it on sale the day after it fucking launched in Canada. So that kind of practice, like yes, technically, if you went from a 2006 stock fucking untouched, you go to a 2025, you're getting what is ostensibly a better vehicle face value.
Of course.
But it's not a better vehicle in context. Like in context, the R in 2006 way fucking better than the R in 2025. So the
way better
the
as in what way? Way better
so
as in
so in the context of its model
because
year
if we're
that's
talking
releasing.
specs, right? If we're talking purely specs and performance,
Yes,
right? It's hard to believe that this newer Nvidia graphics card, in theory, is worse than what was its predecessor.
So let me put it this way. Here's a good. Holy fuck. Okay, I think I have an idea of how to try to get this across. I think I get it now. It's harder because they wouldn't have this in a car dealership directly. But okay, let's say that you went to go and Skyline. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The R34 or whatever the fuck the legendary. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's got R34 Skyline there. It's been tuned to the teeth. But it's clean. It doesn't have any. It's just the classic, well-tuned, arguably greatest car Nissan's ever fucking made. Beautiful car. Somebody says, "All right, I got you. I've got the better version of this bitch," and then they show you a similar Skyline,
an R35,
and they tell an R35, they tell you it's better. You say, "Okay, why?" You say, "Because it makes 20% more horsepower than the previous." You're like, "Oh shit, I can go so much faster on the theoretical highway that doesn't actually allow me to drive that fast in my new style."
Well, not necessarily, because
cool.
it also depends on weight distribution. So you can have
No, I understand what you mean, but just follow me on this analogy.
Okay.
Then you find out how it's making the extra horsepower, just like we're finding out how it's making the extra frames. But they're not they're not selling you it on that on this point. They're just trying to tell you outright it's better and faster without actually giving you any context at all. They just say, this is better than this. The new one, they've got the extra horsepower because they don't tell you this, but you need to press the big giant fucking Need for Speed NOS turbo button on the fucker to make that power. It's there. It's technically faster, but you're blowing NOS through the fucking car to get there. Okay? The NOS in this analogy is the AI generated frames. So when Jensen goes on stage, he says the 5070, which is a less powerful car, is faster than the previous top of the line 4090. Leaves it there. Does not elaborate further. Just tells you that's the case, and then they shows you the number on the screen. Says, see the horsepower number? It's higher.
I know where you're going. Yeah, I get it.
On the dyno, it's higher. But he doesn't tell you on the dyno they got there because they fucking just about blew the heads off the fucking car because they hit the NOS button and didn't let go. That's what we're doing. But he's selling you on it being better and increasing the price at the same time. That's what's happening here.
Okay.
So with that kind of context, how are we feeling about that kind of a business strategy?
I mean, I see I see what you're saying. And I can agree that you have a right to feel the way that you feel.
I know that for the end consumer with no context, they're like, "Oh, whatever."
Yeah. But I think also, right, is he's not in theory lying.
No, right? Of course not, because that would be illegal.
That would be illegal, right? Exactly. So in theory, he's not lying, right? But at the same time, as long as we'll say in this case, the new R35 that has the turbo button on it, because in theory, if you were to just take the R34 and the R35, and I'm not saying this to be true, but for the sake of analogy here,
yeah,
and you just didn't touch that NOS button, and you decided to just give her down the street, the R34 is going to put a licking on the R35. It might not be a huge licking, but but the R35's newer and more expensive. So you're thinking to yourself, well, what the fuck? I just want the R34. Why am I getting this R35? Well, you didn't push the NOS button. But what happens when you do push the NOS button? When you do push the NOS button, you start to overtake the R34. And then you start to go, okay, you know what? Maybe this extra little bit of money and clicking this NOS button, when you click that shit, you hit in the back of the seat, it might, you got to ask yourself, I think the dilemma that you're going through right now is in your mind. So let me throw a different analogy at you.
Sure.
Okay? I'm gonna throw a different analogy at you.
Hit me.
And I think I know what your answer is gonna be. But I'm gonna ask you just to see if you still feel the same way. Say, for example, what's I can really do this for anything, but let's go with food. All right. Say, for example, Adam, you go and you buy supplements.
Yes.
And you're like, I want protein powder. Which is something you might actually buy, but I don't know. But let's just say you buy protein powder. You go to Popeyes or Walmart or wherever your local place is. You go in there, you buy the same 27 grams of protein per scoop, and it costs you $59.99 for a tub, right? You buy this thing on the regular. You've always done it. You've noticed over time they have different packaging. They're maybe the price just goes up a little bit over time because inflation, costs, all that shit. Cool, it's normal. But say, for example, you go into the store, and a guy at the counter goes, "Okay, Adam, I know you've been buying this product for $59.99, but there's this other product, right? It's the same company. It's the same brand that you love and trust. It's all this stuff. Hell, it's even the same type of protein per scoop. But the ingredients in it is a little bit different. Now, the ingredients is not going to really change its ability. You're not going to get a lesser quality of a product, but it is a little bit better. Maybe it's faster acting. Maybe proteins take a little bit. You get after workout. It's maybe it just speeds it up a little bit. It just going into the muscles, rebuilding up those muscles, whatever. But in theory, it's just a little bit of a better quality protein. But this costs an extra 20%. So you're adding 20% onto $60. So we'll say it moves up to $70. So chuck $10 on top of this thing. Now, you find out that in theory, this stuff does work better. But you also understand that the ingredients that they're using is much cheaper for them. It's much cheaper for them to produce. So, for example, your old one, $59.99, it costs them $12 shipped. This one costs them $7.50 shipped. So their margins are higher. But you also know, because you're a smart guy and you look through the ingredients and you looked up this ingredient that they figured out. In this case, it's the AI, but we'll just whatever the case may be. And you've realized, yeah, they spent a whole bunch of money on this proprietary bullshit, but they're putting it in there and now it's made their costs smaller, but they're charging you more. So you mean to tell me the $3+ trillion protein company that got everybody buying their protein, they're fucking destroying everybody in the market right now, and they're fucking feeling themselves, and their chest is puffed out, and they've got a slightly better product? Yeah, sure. But let's be real, I don't need this protein to fucking work a little faster. I mean, I could clearly just use this old protein, save $10, but fuck these guys, and fuck this practice, because in theory, maybe they should be charging less. Because they cracked the code, it's cheaper for them to make, but yet I have to spend more money on this. Doesn't that feel the same type of thing to you? Would you be enraged about the fact that they've managed to figure out a way to, in theory, give you a better performing protein, or in this case, a better performing graphics card. Yeah, you might have to put on.
They tell you it's better performing.
But it is. But it is a better performing card.
Okay.
But you have to use the juice, right? And this protein, they have to put in this ingredient. In this Nissan, you have to hit that NOS button for it to go over your standard performance. But the thing is, they do have those things. They do have this AI-generated thing to make the performance better. They do have that NOS button to make it better than the R34. They do have that extra ingredient in the protein to, in theory, make it work faster. So in theory, it's a superior product. But maybe you don't like the fact that they've managed to create it cheaper, and they've used basically the shell of the old protein, sprinkled in some shit in there, and you're going, well, where's the value add? This is bullshit. The old one, you didn't need this stuff. Why? That's how I look at it.
You know what this sounds like? It sounds like back in the Great Depression, they made sawdust bread, where there was a practice where they literally looked to see how much sawdust they could add to the dough of a bread and still have it sort of taste and function as bread and not harm people for consumption, to the point where we had to, at some point, actually legally draw the line, because they were still, after they didn't need to anymore, they were still just throwing sawdust in to make it cheaper for them, but still selling it as full-blown bread. It's very similar or analogous to that.
I get an even simpler thing. Say this graphics card comes out, right?
Yeah.
And it is 20% more expensive or 30% more expensive. But you found out that they could actually make they made this graphics card, $50 cheaper per graphics card. But yet they still raised the price. Does that upset you?
It upset, but for different reasons. So what I guess to contextualize this, why I'm upset with what Nvidia is doing is that it's not necessarily just what they're selling, it's how they're selling it. Because they are...
But they're not lying. But you're still getting the performance. That's the thing. It's just, but you understand the nuances of it, right? Like, you understand the deep-seated tech of it.
But that's
the
audience that I have.
No, that's not the problem, because there's no point in going out there and creating confusion and telling everybody that, you know what? We have a great product, and it is better than the last. But there's a caveat I want to tell you. We're masking, because that's what it makes it seem like you're saying. We're masking how good this card is based off the technology that is juiced into it.
Well, that's
so
exactly
in theory,
what they're doing. Yeah,
exactly. But that juice is the thing that makes it the better card, right? So why would you downplay your card and confuse the consumer to say, yeah, in theory it's better, but it's worse? Why would you do that?
So
because it's not an actual, because it wouldn't be a worse card. It would, in theory, be a better card. This is what happens when you innovate and you have new technology. Is like, they had to spend $1 billion on this, on this AI technology, right? Like, they're changing the game.
It's okay. So it's better if better just meant that they can go on stage and put a higher supposed frame rate number, because not real, supposed frame rate number up on screen that's higher than the last one, then they could pitch that as better. The problem is, and you described part of what my issue with this as well, is that between the two of us, we represent the two ends of the consumer spectrum. I'm deeply involved with it. I understand the nuts and bolts. You're more on the you just need a graphics card. You go to the store, you buy the graphics card.
Yeah.
You represent far larger percentage of the people that are purchasing cards in that fashion than I would. That, and what that is categorically based on what they're doing on stage and how you are describing it specifically, is called the agency theory. And the agent, which you might have heard about with sales for real estate, for example, where salesmen can use agency theory actually to their advantage, or brokerages and things of that nature. Where the agency theory, if you're unaware, is the imbalance in knowledge of what is being sold and how it's being sold by the seller to the person purchasing it if you're applying agency theory to a sales proposition, because agency theory can also be applied to anything from somebody working at a business and HR leveraging knowledge of law versus the person, etc. But in this instance, it is the seller versus the purchaser. Jensen is heavily leveraging, and Nvidia heavily leveraging the agency theory here, and that's one of my major concerns is, or not concerns, but what bothers me.
Well, what makes it a worse card? Because what you're saying is essentially, I know where you're going, but it's like,
yes. Okay, so here's
what exactly?
Let me explain
he's
that
not
to you.
really being deceitful, because what he's saying is actual. Unless he's lying and it's illegal, right?
Yeah.
Then which surely not doing.
Well, the gray area is that you would have to definitionally and concretely be able to define specifically what better is, which would never be possible in a court of law unless they said specifically that it was raw raster better than 4090, which they're not. They're just pointing at the bigger frame. That's why I was saying it's important to note they're just pointing at the frame rate number. Yeah. 4 times of those frames, by the way, are being generated by in faux manner. They're not real. They're not raster. They're just being interpolated. This is a similar process to when you buy a new TV and the interpolation, the cinema smooth, the whatever the fuck. Anyway, that's the same idea. They're taking 24 frame content and turning it into 60, and it gives you the soap opera effect. And you can also see artifacts on the edges of people's heads and all the other moving content, especially hands, fingers, and shit on screen. Those same kind of artifacts and stuff all can exist. And what the end product is that for the average consumer like yourself, what people are talking about on forums, Reddit, and everything else that don't know the nuts and bolts, they just know when they put the game in and they play the game, and they turn everything on, they're like, why does this game look so blurry and weird when I just played like The Witcher 3 from 2015 and it was crystal clear and sharp and looked normal? And the answer to that is the exact technology that we are describing right now that they are leveraging to be able to say that a $500 new version of a graphics card is better than the $2,000 previous generation 4090, when it is categorically not, except in that it's generating more frames with their software that is proprietary to Nvidia, that AMD has their own version of. By the way, they're doing the same shit. And so the average consumer, they just see, they know that for the average consumer, they just know frame rate. How fast is it going? What resolution? So when Jensen gets on stage and says, we're running Cyberpunk 2077 on the 5070 at 4K maximum settings.
I get it, but what was the predecessor to this current card?
The 40 series is becoming the 50. So the 4090 was the top dick, still is 24 gig, way more fucking processing power. And then he's going up on stage and not comparing the 5090 to it, which would be the direct successor. He's saying the 5070, which is the below, like in your series that you have is 2080 Ti. In your series, it was 2080 Ti, 2080 Super, 2080, 2070 Ti, 2070 Super, 2070. He's comparing the 4090, or in your case, the 2080 Super series, to the 2070
for frame rate.
Or the 30 on frame rate with DLSS enabled, specifically, not without, and then not mentioning that necessarily, just saying this is what you're getting and selling it as the performance difference to say that it is better for less than half the price of the 4090, which on paper, like you were saying, is not technically wrong.
Wrong, yes,
but it is, but for the average consumer, they don't know enough, so they just look at it and say, holy fuck, well, fuck me, I gotta get me into that 5070 right now. I own a 4090, but goddamn, I'm jumping into the 50 series. So my problem is the abuse of the agency theory, the abuse of their position, because how we got here in the first place is if somebody says ray tracing to you, somebody you'll probably hear more often than not, it's being referred to as RTX. It's not even the short form is RTX. The short form for ray tracing is RT. Nvidia's proprietary shit is RTX. They're turning the shit into the Kleenex. It's facial tissue, but everyone be calling the bitch Kleenex. Nobody is saying, pass me some facial tissue. It's Kleenex, but Kleenex is a brand. RTX is the brand. Nvidia has been doing this for like 20 years, where they will, in their position in the market, invent a new software, make it proprietary to their cards, because they have more percent of the market. The people that make games are then forced to include that shit, and it forces, so it creates it's a semi bordering on monopolistic situation that is legally gray defined not, but they're doing it strong arming. And when he got the AI shit kicked off, the bubble that is currently fucking massive and it blew their valuation through, they're now pushing this down to the gamer graphics card market and stiff arming people there, but they don't know while they're getting fucking fisted in real time and then quadrupling that fisting with AI. It's fucking insane. And unfortunately, because they're doing that, I'm now watching AMD do the same shit. And so what upsets me is that between Nvidia and Unreal being the two primary drivers of the entire fucking market, we are getting the worst performing shit for the most money, like in context of current year, of any generation that's ever come before. And it looks like it's only going to fucking get worse. That comment of we're going to ship with one frame, and then AI is going to take a bunch of fucking shrooms and then hallucinate the rest of the fucking video game is obviously never going to happen. But we seem to be getting really like we're on track for that shit. They're putting up $1,200 graphics cards, putting 27 frames per second on screen, and gloating. Can you imagine if they did that shit a decade ago? Like, look at our brand new $1,200 graphics card getting 27 frames per second. Are you serious? That shit's crazy. So I get it for a consumer like yourself. Is it going to move the needle for you as an experience at the end, other than the fact that you might look at the game and go, why in the fuck is everything so goddamn blurry in this bitch? Other than that, which will get better over time, obviously, as technology improves to some degree. Nothing is ever going to beat pure fucking frame rasterization. But it will get better. But for now, when everyone is wondering why you're playing a brand new game and it looks like somebody put like the AI like smooth face filter on, like when you took a selfie and you're like, God damn, either I just got 20 years younger or I've lost all the pores on my face. When you're wondering why your game looks like that, that's why. Because you're likely using that shit, and they are reaming your shit for it, and your power bill, all at the same time.
Yeah. Just take it with a grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen, because Adam is super.
I'm not saying go buy them.
Aggro. He's super aggro on this sort of stuff. Like, to him, one particle is like the end of the world. They're showing this stuff on, like, what was it, Black Wukong or whatever the fuck it was, on the most maxed out possible settings ever. If you're just playing games and you're playing this shit on high or ultra, you're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna work out.
Can I make a suggestion?
Everything, and you're also going to be saving significant amount of money, because one was costing you 4 times the amount. This one's costing you a quarter of it. If you are somebody like Adam, you don't buy this graphics card. You just don't. Because you're gonna find every reason to hate it and burn it into the ground. But if you're on a budget, and we use that word fucking very loosely when we're talking about graphics cards, but if you're on a budget and you want something that can do some really cool shit because of AI technology, and yes, it's not as good as the raw dog, big fucking $2,000 all you can eat fucking gourmet luxury food, but it's gonna get you through. And you're going to be totally fine. You'll be okay. You'll be okay.
Here's what I will say. Jeff is 100% right. But what I want you to realize is that you can get all of that. You don't have to buy these new cards right now. If you don't,
you never
try
do.
to do.
There'll be new ones in 6 months, Adam. We have this update every 6 months. There's new cards.
No, I understand. But what I'm saying is that if you're just like Jeff, or like most people, and you're just wanting to play 60 FPS, even at higher resolutions, you can buy 1 or 2 generations back and be fine 95% of the time and save even more money. What I'm saying is don't be aware when they say that these cards are categorically just better for everyone, because they're not. They're very specific in that, but they're getting looser and looser with this kind of shit.
I don't think they're saying it's better for everyone.
Oh, they're 100%.
I don't think they said that.
They're on
I don't
stage.
think they said. I don't think they're saying it's better for everyone. I would highly doubt that came out of his mouth. This card is better for everyone.
If Jensen says that the mid-tier 5070 is better than the top of the line 4 times the cost 4090 Ti, 4090, do you not think that the implication there is that every card in this lineup is better for everyone? If the person that bought the middle of the range 40 series would then thereby extension be nearly 8 times to the better, going from the 4070 to the 5070? Is he saying those words? Well, he has to be very careful when he gets up, because like we just described, he has to be mindful of how specific his terminology is with this shit, because he knows he's not being fully truthful here. He knows he's twisting some shit because people don't know what's going on in full, but he can say it in such a way that there's some implications involved, but implications do not get you in trouble the vast majority of the time. He's not going up and saying this is better for literally everyone, just buy this card. But if you compare the mid-range to the top of the line and say for less than, basically a quarter of the price, it's better.
Bro, I'm going to keep it a buck. If it's a quarter of the price and all I got to do is deal with some sprinkles around my character, if I want to max this shit out to the fucking tits, bro, I'm saying sprinkle me all over. Twilight me. Shit better be glistening. Straight up. And we're talking the top. I mean, bro, you're talking about peak performance. We're talking fucking Crisis on crack.
Brother,
we're not talking about I go buy this card right now and I slap this into, dude, I'll slap this into fucking any game out. And I can guarantee you, brother, I ain't gonna see a difference. The shit's just gonna run. It's gonna run. You're so anal. But I also understand where you're coming from. Like, I'm not totally shutting it down. It's just you know.
I just want people to be informed, because they're getting fucking fleeced. That's all.
There ain't a single person listening to this podcast that's going to change their Nvidia buying. It's like telling an iPhone user to not go out and buy the newest iPhone when you know damn well motherfucker at Apple is going to come on stage and tell you how great the 6 button is here on the side, when you know it's fucking dog shit, and you're just going to turn it the fuck off when you get it. They're still going to go and buy the shit. They're still going to go and buy it.
At least then it's consensual.
It's always consensual.
No. If you don't know what you're really getting into and you're just being told it's better, but you don't know if it is or it isn't or why, then
but he explained why. He explained why. He told you that it's this new AI thing that's making it, it's juicing it up. He's telling you guys this is what it's. He's literally showing you what this 27 frame rate garbage looks like, and then what it looks like when you juice it up. He's literally showing you. I saw the clip. I watched it on Twitter. He literally showed this shit moving like this, and then all of a sudden it was like, it was going. He's literally telling you it's this thing that's making this thing do this.
We're so cooked.
We are cooked. It's only going to get worse, man. It's only going to get worse.
So fucking goddamn cooked. Meanwhile, AMD is still waiting to really deep dive on all their shit. We don't really know We know the names of the cards. We know that they're not making a top-of-the-line versions of their cards coming up. They're just making kind of like the upper mid and then like mid-range cards. They're not going all in this gen. What we do know, at the very least, is that they do have their version of DLSS getting an update as well. It's FSR 4. It does look better than FSR 3. That's not a high bar because FSR 3 looked like a pile of smashed assholes. And so there is that. The thing that is kind of turning people off with AMDs is that the current thing floating around, and I don't know if it's been confirmed or not yet, is that FSR 4 will not be available to their highest end cards from this current generation, which is giving people a bit of a weird vibe because they're not producing super high end cards for this next generation, but they're also leaving all of their super high end cards that in the previous gen behind for FSR. So we're going to need some more elaboration on that. We're going to find out more about that. I think they were just waiting for Nvidia to do their presentation first, so if they wanted to make any changes to their presentation based on that presentation, they could, because this is a really important release for AMD. AMD's crushing it on the CPU side, but the GPU side, they've still been struggling when it comes to competition with Nvidia. And in terms of selling, not that their cards can't compete, just getting people to buy them has been their trouble. So they need any marketing edge they can get. So I think that's probably what they were waiting for. Speaking of shit that will likely use AMD anyway, pretty much all consoles. And as such, we have some rumors that started circulating, very odd rumors, that the next Xbox could actually be released in 2026. Which would be odd, but here we are. They're saying the rumor said something about the name, or at least code name, for it being Xbox Prime, which I hope is a code name because that's a dog shit name that you definitely not use. But I could also totally see Xbox doing it because their naming schemes have been historically kind of questionable. But the rumor is that it's launching in 2026 alongside of their next big or major Call of Duty release. But I don't necessarily think that this is particularly viable. I don't know where this rumor is coming from. It's being reported in a couple places. We already know that from court documents that we talked about here on the podcast before that the projected new console is likely to be more in line of 2028, which would also better align with the more typical console life cycles that we've been seeing in recent times. 2026 would be kind of early. It also would seem weird because they only just started this new marketing campaign of this is an Xbox, which is a whole campaign designed specifically to try to get people to understand that whether it's your cell phone or your, the Steam Deck or your computer or whatever, pretty much everything is an Xbox because of their cloud gaming and Xbox Live or Xbox Game Pass service. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. However, what I would say could be a possibility, especially since Phil Spencer has been speaking more and more almost specifically about it in recent times, I could see 2026 being the year of the Xbox handheld. I could see that being a thing. We know that they're very likely working on one, given, like I said, what how Phil's been discussing handhelds. He's been asked about it specifically a few times now. So that would make more sense. I could definitely see a handheld in 2026 from Xbox, and then the actual next full console release being 2028 as projected by those court documents. But yeah, that would be the only thing that makes way more sense in my mind. We're also getting a developer direct next week, typically on Thursday, as we are cursed here on Technical Alpha. So maybe we'll get some more insight on related stuff there too. But the bigger thing that a lot of people are looking to see at this developer direct next week is whether or not the recent rumors of an Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake will be confirmed at this developer direct next week. Which would be really quite funny to me anyway, because the Skyblivion fan remake is also scheduled to release this year. And so if we get the actual, this is the one of the greatest convergence of happenings in gaming history. If we get a Bethesda remake of Oblivion at the same time that we get the fan remake of Oblivion in the Skyrim engine, I don't even. It could be catastrophic. They can't take down Sky Oblivion easily because they already gave them all of the things that they needed to do to avoid legal issues, which meant largely remake every fucking asset in the game, and they did. So it is technically Oblivion in the Skyrim engine, but there are, to my knowledge, no real legal loopholes now for Bethesda to be able to stop Sky Oblivion releasing at this point, because they have been compliant with their legal outline. So getting both in the same year, oh my god. That could actually be the death knell for Bethesda, because if the fan project turns out to be better,
rip.
Can you imagine? I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to see both released in the same year. That shit would be incredible, to say the least. But what do you think, Mr. Black? You think that makes more sense? A handheld in 26? Obviously, I think it's a 0% chance of a full console in 26. That just doesn't make any fucking sense. No matter how you slice it. But how do you feel about the Xbox handheld? Handhelds seem to be making like a bit of a comeback. We went, the Switch kind of held down the fort for a while, but nobody else was really doing anything until the Steam Deck put a little dent in it, and then we had all these other Steam Deck versions from Asus and these other companies coming out with their own shit, where these handheld PCs have become more and more common and are getting better and better over time. I'm sure you're still harboring a little bit of salt from the fact that you never got your Steam Deck during that time.
It's whatever.
Yeah. But it seems like the handhelds are making a comeback to some degree. Do you think that in the grand scheme of things for Xbox, where they're pushing as everything basically being an Xbox already, do you think it's necessary for them to still, or that it would not even necessary, but that it at least makes some functional sense for them to also make their own in-house handheld? Or do you think that they should kind of stay the course as they have been, where they're just saying, your phone, your fucking whatever is already, if you get access to the cloud or if you get access to Game Pass, then it is an Xbox at that point. So do you think it's still worth their while to do it? How do you feel about that? Would you be interested in a handheld Xbox?
No. But I think this happens if they don't plan to make another console. So I think if this is the reality, I think that they come out with this handheld. There will be no new Xbox console, but there will be new versions of the Xbox handheld, and they will push out Game Pass for the PC, for your mobile device or whatever device, and their console. And I think that's the route that they'll end up going. If they're not gonna, I highly doubt that you're gonna see a handheld and then a new console as well. I just don't see it. And Xbox is getting absolutely destroyed in the console world. It's like they're getting fucking owned. So this might be their last ditch effort. And they may just say, no, fuck this console shit. This will be Xboxes everywhere. And you know what? If you still want a console-like experience, we're coming out with their handheld shit. Very similar to what a Nintendo Switch did. You might be able to plug it into your TV or cast it to your TV and play it, or just play it on the go. I think that's what's going to happen. If this is true.
Yeah. I don't understand the 2026 thing at all, unless it was for a handheld. I agree. Well, to a degree. I still think they're going to do one more at-home console regardless, whether they're doing a handheld or not. I think they're going to at least try one more. Sony continuously has been coming out and saying that home consoles aren't going anywhere. I think they have to, because they don't really have a choice right now. They don't have a great alternative. They're not necessarily in the same position that the Xbox is with the Game Pass, and with their cloud gaming service is not quite as robust. So at least for now, they have to keep telling everyone that consoles aren't going anywhere. But I also think that that's kind of true for the foreseeable future. We haven't seen, if you think about it, for the whole calendar year anyway, which is a long time in tech, it's not like we've seen leaps and bounds in cloud gaming in the last couple of years, even if you go back a couple of years. It's not like it's some sort of huge step up where everyone is ready to just hop on and start playing cloud-based games. So it still feels like the infrastructure's not quite there and we're still a ways away from it yet, and so at-home consoles make sense. So I think there's probably that. But I do think if it was anything in 26, it's a handheld, and then the full console I could also see being 28. I do still think that they're likely hoping to launch the next Elder Scrolls with the next Xbox. Because if they do give a fuck about any home console sales, they need to come out with such an enormous home run scenario for selling consoles. They need killer apps on that console launch. There has the last couple of console generations for like killer apps to sell consoles has been kind of shit. So they need something big.
No. There's no way that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be the release game for the new console. It's not happening, bro. It's not happening. Dude, did you not just watch what happened to their last fucking release? Do you really think Microsoft is going to put all of their eggs in the Bethesda basket and say, you know what? This last launch we did was absolutely horrific. Our console's getting fucking destroyed. What IP are we going to get behind? What company are we going to get behind to go and launch our next generation of consoles? They would be out of their fucking minds if they thought that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be the fucking game that isn't going to come out and be a broken shit fest. It's going to be an absolute meme until the game is fixed. And if you think that they're going to release a console on a game that big, and I'm going to use this, who only knows at this point, because they probably got fucking AI generated fucking worlds and terrain and shit. Bro, the thing's going to be a fucking meme. No, it's just not going to happen. And you know what? There's nothing sexy about Elder Scrolls, dude. There's just nothing sexy about it. The new Xbox coming out and get Elder Scrolls. Like, what the fuck? Is it going to be a bunch of fucking 30, 40, 50-year-old dudes screaming from the hilltops? Yeah! Dude, they're going to target the fucking Fortnite kiddies, man. Who the fuck is running out to buy an Xbox day one because Elder Scrolls 6 is released? There will be people, for sure. Like, I get it. It sold a lot of copies. Skyrim's on everything. I understand that. But my God, as your marketing piece, it ain't Grand Theft Auto 6. It's fucking Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, this shit is going to be a fucking broken shithole. And you think for a second they're going to put all the entire backing of the next generation on that? Hell no. I'm sorry, man.
Okay, if you're Phil Spencer, and you know that in 2028, you're being expected to launch the next console. Oh, I don't, wait, no, who's head of hardware? Sarah Bond? Anyway, the team. You gotta launch a console in 2028. And any console does need some killer apps, and I feel like if the best you've got in 28 is talking about a Fortnite integration event for your console, you're already fucked from the gate. That's just bad.
But I get it. No, but I get that. But what I'm saying is, Elder Scrolls ain't it, bro.
No,
they ain't releasing a console with Elder.
And you could pull anything. What are your 3 picks for what Xbox should consider for their launch consoles to get people to buy?
I got 3 words. I got 3 words. Don't make consoles. You're dead. Microsoft, it's over. Phil needs to go, guys, it's over. We lost. It's done. Make a fucking handheld and start pandering to kids. Because this shit is over. Sony owns us. Sony's fucking us hard. And Sony comes up with a new IP and a little fucking asteroid fuck, and he's fucking us. Everyone's fucking us. Our old IPs are dead. It's over.
And we killed them.
Yes, it's done. This isn't even a conversation. There ain't no 3 games. There ain't nothing.
Oh.
It's either they're gonna release. It's either they're okay with being last in the console wars and literally losing money. It's okay. It's okay if they're fine with that. Then just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep releasing the same shit that you release, and throw another fucking Assassin's Creed 50 in there, and a fucking Far Cry 72, and a shitty Halo, and a fucking whatever else is a fucking shit Xbox got, and just keep doing what you're doing and keep burning money. And then Philly can go fuck off. He's made $1 bajillion. He did some good. He did some bad. At the end of the day, man, Xbox is played out. Straight up. They're played out. It's over. It's over. They got fucking wrecked.
If I'm launching an Xbox in 28, and I'm looking at our stable of games, the one thing that stands out, obviously, is that there are no exclusives that outright carry it, but you have to still have some sort of exclusive title to run with. You can't just go with third party. Obviously, if Fortnite still exists in 28, you're going to be able to play it on anything. It doesn't matter. So,
you know what does it?
What?
You know what does it? I'll give you a game.
What do you got?
I'll give you a game.
What do you got?
It's one game. It's one game I can think of.
Okay.
And it's one game that would fucking sell all the copies. All of them.
I'm very interested right now.
All of the copies. Everything. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
I guarantee nobody's going to guess what game I'm saying. What IP I'm saying.
I have no idea.
And I'm only saying it because of something that I saw recently.
Okay.
Beef Nug said it. Minecraft 2.
Minecraft 2? Oh, Notch.
That is it. Because Notch went out and said he's thinking about making Minecraft 2. And that is the only game. The only one. That's it. Not available on Sony. Only Xbox, PC, Minecraft 2, and now you've got a launch. You've got a serious launch. You're selling consoles. You're selling all the consoles. Everything. That's your Pokemon. That's your Zelda. That's your Mario. That's all of that. Right there. You can't sell Minecraft 1, Minecraft 2. New graphics, same maker. You get Notch, you pay him $1 billion, and you get him to go make another Minecraft, and you sell all of the consoles. You actually outperform Sony. If you had a launch same day, you outperform Sony. If you have the Xboxes to sell. Only game. And it's the only way. That's it. Everything else.
I didn't think you were going to go Minecraft, but it was in my 3. Minecraft is in my 3. Because it's true. Microsoft spent a shitload of money to buy it. They've already made their money back a bajillion times over. They're swimming in money.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I agree. I think Minecraft 2 has to be one of them. No doubt. I think if you're going to pick 3 and you're trying to hit a mixture of young kids, nostalgia, and your traditional IPs, you have to go Minecraft. You have to go Halo, even if the last one was bad. You still have to have Halo. You have to try to. You need a shooter, and Halo's your only real shooter.
Call of Duty.
Well, you can do Call of Duty. So if you ignore everything and just go, well, they don't have exclusives with. They can't make Call of Duty exclusive. They can't do that.
No, you don't need to. You just need to have it available, right?
Right.
Dude, Minecraft. You've already said it.
Yeah.
You Minecraft 2, and we already know you're already getting all the other same fucking third-party shit. It's all going to go on the... You just need that one IP. It ain't Elder Scrolls, man.
Oh, no.
Not it. That ain't it. It ain't it. It's Minecraft. It's Minecraft, and it's owned by Microsoft. Notch wants to do it. Shit. It might already be being built, and we don't even know it yet.
I think
And
there's
there's
a good chance it
probably
is.
a damn good chance that it is, and it has been. It's a multi-bagillion-dollar IP off one game. That shit is like crack. It's for kids. It's for teens. It's for adults. It's for old people. It's for the dead. It's everywhere. I mean, fuck, you can play it in death and still have a good time. You don't even know what's going on. You're just in the fucking, underworld or enderworld or whatever the fuck it is.
Minecraft 2, it's for the dead. There's
Yes,
your
I mean, bro.
That's
it. That's all you need. Dude, could you imagine if Xbox said, "Hey, yo, we're making a new Xbox console," and everyone goes, "Yay, woo, fuck, I'm buying Sony," and they go, "Oh, Minecraft 2." They go,
"Oh shit, really?
Oh, fuck."
And they had a handheld prep for that shit?
Bruh. That's it.
Dude, they could feasibly have Minecraft 2 on the handheld in 26 if they've already been working on Minecraft 2.
Yes.
Like, that's feasible.
It would sell all the copies, because even if you were a grumpy old, I hate Microsoft dude, I can't fucking stand them, and you got kids, you're buying an Xbox. And it's like, it's one of those games too that's like, it's good for kids. Like if they're playing games, you want them to play Minecraft.
You like it, Minecraft,
it's like, yes. Play Minecraft.
Become an
Just
engineer.
Go play Minecraft. Yes, that's literally it.
It's Lego for the modern age.
That's what it is. Minecraft 2. That is Xbox's out, bro. That's the one. That's the one. And how many people are going to buy that console? It'll be insane. And Sony can't touch it. Or Nintendo. Although Nintendo does have Minecraft, but they would make it so it's exclusive. Put Minecraft 2 exclusive for like fucking 3 years. Put that shit on. Then once you sold all your consoles, then fucking sprinkle it over to Nintendo. Sprinkle it over to wherever the fuck you need it to go. And just cash in. Cha-ching. Cha-ching.
But what is Minecraft
all the content creators...
What does Minecraft 2 even look like? Because we have like ray-traced Minecraft right now, right?
It looks like Minecraft. It just looks like Minecraft. That's what it does.
But in a different engine. Harder.
Yes. More shit. More enemies. Same basic shit. Just looks better. And you do a lot more. Oh, and you think the Minecraft world you're in is big now? Oh. Oh, now you can now maybe you can travel to another Minecraft planet. Go to a different place.
Oh, it's No Man's Sky, but Minecraft.
Can you imagine? Think about it. Just think about it.
No Man's Craft.
That's it. Notch needs another $400 million mansion. Give it to him.
He needs another candy room, Mr. Black.
Yes, he does.
Candy dispensary. He needs it.
That's the play.
Honest to God, they must.
There's no better play.
They must already be working on that shit. They have to be.
Well, they have to. They have to, because especially with all the other failures they have. The thing is, you can have a bunch of failures and just need one fucking grand slam.
Minecraft.
This thing right here would be that one thing that would just offset all other bullshit. Be like, you know what? Fuck it. We can at least fake it and pretend like Xbox is the fucking shit, when in reality it's just Minecraft. Minecraft's the shit. But you know what? Then maybe off the backs of Minecraft, they can reignite Microsoft Xbox division and actually do something with it.
People have brought up a good point where Minecraft mods have already done so much of Minecraft, but you have to remember there's technically two branches of Minecraft. There's the Minecraft that Jeff and I played, and many of you guys would have played, the Java edition of Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the one that's like all the kids are playing, and it's on like all the other devices, the C++ or whatever, the Bedrock edition.
That's the one Kai plays. Yes.
That's the stock, there's add-ons to it and shit, but it's not the Java, like, you need a fucking NASA supercomputer so that you can actually recreate Doom running on a binary fucking computer within Minecraft type shit. Yes, that's so extensible and has been for an eternity, but for like the one that makes all the money is not Java. The one that makes all the money is the Bedrock edition being sold to kids. That's the
and
one
not only that,
money.
Think about it. Think Minecraft, right? And then you just mix in all of the online type features and stuff that they have for Roblox. So like
well,
you have,
I was gonna say,
you have,
Minecraft is their like their what do they want to call it? The metaverse. That's their
yes,
metaverse.
yes, it's the original. It's the OG, bro.
Mm.
And I'm telling you, you come out with that, and then you put this, you do this online shit where you can go join all these different custom servers, and you can just open world stuff. You can mod it to fucking shit. Dude, I'm buying an Xbox.
Oh.
Straight up. You put that on there, I have to buy an Xbox. And the thing is my son would play it, my wife would play it, and I'd even fuck around with it.
Dude, that's
think about the YouTube channels that would spawn.
Oh,
the amount of content that would get made off Minecraft. Dude, I'd be a Minecraft tuber again. I'd be like, guys, yeah, welcome back to Minecraft. This is fantastic. I'd be fucking we got ourselves a thumbnail maker now, bro. We'd be fucking on fire.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Time to
40-year-old men Minecraft.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. And watch me. Watch me. I'd do it.
Oh boy. Quick news, Mr. Black. There's only one thing here. Tango Gameworks, the makers of Hi-Fi Rush, we found out that they were going to be bought up by Krafton, or were bought up by Krafton. They're now officially rebranded Tango Gameworks Inc. and are getting back to work on making their next game. So we could be getting a Hi-Fi Rush 2. We could be getting a sequel to Ghostwire Tokyo, whatever. But Krafton has saved them from the depths of Microsoft's hell and are getting into it. And so now, after all of that, it's time for a little sellout. Mr. Black, what do you got for us?
We got Patreon, patreon.com/legtv. Head on over there and just fucking throw money at the screen. See what happens. Probably nothing, though. But yeah, throw some money at the screen. If not, that's okay. Go grab yourself NordVPN. They supporting the podcast. They supporting Light TV. The OGs. Guys, stay safe, stay anonymous on the internet. Watch different regions of Netflix and other streaming services just at the click of a button. It's that quick. You want to watch, I don't know, Love is Blind, Brazil, you know, hey, just click a button. Mask your IP. Boom. It's there for you. All on that same one subscription. You're getting blocked on Twitter. This content's only available in the United States. I'm from Canada. I click a button on NordVPN, mask my IP like I'm from Connecticut. Next thing you know, I'm watching that clip.
Connecticut.
On your PC, just not even on a server, but you got that threat protection clicked on. Now you ain't getting all these random pop-ups and all these malicious websites that are there to steal your cookies, track what you're doing. Just slow down your PC and put you in a whole bunch of internet bad places where you don't want to be. It's like walking down a dark alleyway in New York City at 2:00 in the morning, and you've seen it a million times before, and you're like, I'm not going down there. But for whatever reason, you decide to go down there and you get jumped. Well, when you're on the internet and you use threat protection, there's a digital wall that comes up and says, don't go down this alleyway. Stop! Think! It's 2 a.m, fool! And it just runs peacefully in the background of your computer. You don't even need to be on a VPN. Can be, but you don't even need to be. It just runs, keeps you safe. Keep you safe from yourself. Going those dark, long paths and into the dark web. Stay away from there. Place is crazy. NordVPN, they'll warn you. They'll still let you go. But they're going to warn you first. They're going to warn you. They're going to let you know this is not a safe place to travel. But if you do, we warned you. It's what you pay us for. Oh, and the pay? It's less than a cup of coffee a month. I had Starbucks today. I had a grande cinnamon dolce latte. I did. Cost me $7.
Milk?
No, I had a little bit of milk in there.
Wow.
I'm venturing out.
Wow.
No whipped cream.
How did that go?
No whipped cream. I'm fine. I'm fine right now.
Okay.
I'm okay.
All right, well, that's good.
I took some dairy pills.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Okay. No, you're safe. You're safe. You're
Took
safe.
those lactose pills. I'm good.
Yeah.
It's cheap, guys. And you get a massive discount when you use our link. Go to nordvpn.com/OTT. Use that. Get a huge discount. It's like 70-something% off. Plus, you get 4 extra months, which brings down your monthly average even lower. You guys have been using it for a long time. If you're up for renewal, use our link. Keep it going. We appreciate it. Stay safe on the internet. Have anonymity. And you can use up to 10 simultaneous devices. What more could you ask for, guys? Go check them out. It's NordVPN.
And now it's time for
movies and TV.
not a lot this week.
Okay.
Or any of the weeks for the last few. But we do have a couple of more video game to screen adaptations announced. We got Helldivers becoming a movie via Sony Pictures, and we're getting Ghost of Tsushima as an anime via Crunchyroll and Aniplex. Beyond that, I didn't see a hell of a lot in terms of news. Do we have anything that you're aware of that you've cropped up on your feed is far more entrenched in movies and TV than mine is? Anything of note?
No, I haven't really seen much of anything. I watched. What did I watch? Yeah. I mean, there's no. It's January, right?
Yeah, it's slow.
You know, the releases are usually pretty. Sometimes you get like a banger that comes out in January, like randomly. But I don't really see any of that. Usually the good stuff doesn't come out until like late February, obviously into March. I haven't really been watching a whole lot of TV, to be honest. I've been just kind of chill. I've been watching Love Island, like the newest Love Island with Kayla.
Yes, yeah.
But outside of that, we haven't really watched a whole lot. I did watch one movie, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Couldn't have been all that great if I don't really remember it, but yeah, I haven't been to the movie theaters or anything like that. So, and I haven't heard of any like crazy news.
Yeah,
that is, you know.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either. I know that Interstellar is on Netflix now.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Give people an opportunity to check that out, I guess. And then Em and I watched. Finally, got to sit down and watch Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay,
the other day. Gotta say that was fun. It's just a fun movie. It's a fucking. It was just a fun movie. I was like, you know, with some of the people were bitching about it, and before I even saw it, I was like, part of me was like, what exactly were people expecting?
Well, here's what I said about the film. I think I gave it I want to say I gave it an 8, 7 or an 8.
Yeah,
it was one of the two. It might have been a 7. I don't know. It was between that. I've seen it twice. I've seen it once in theater, and then I watched it again at home with Kayla. This is what I'll say. From a fan service standpoint, it's like a 10. It's just a good fan service Marvel movie. It's kind of like Spider-Man No Way Home, or the latest one with all the different Spider-Man and shit in it. They just did a really good job at like doing fan service. The comedy was pretty good. Hugh Jackman's awesome. Ryan Reynolds is great. You had a bunch of old X-Men characters that were fun to see. The fight scenes are pretty cool. So yeah, in that aspect, it was a good, fun. You just nailed it. It was a fun movie. It was just fun. Turn your brain off, fucking laugh, have a good time. In terms of like an actual like story and like substance, it's garbage. It's not a good movie. But I didn't go to Deadpool Wolverine to go and see some like highbrow fucking, you know, I didn't go there expecting Dune. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went there expecting Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds doing what they do. And we got that. And we got a lot of that. And it was really awesome. So I enjoyed the film. I thought it was fun.
So here's what my rating is for it. I'm giving it a 9. This is why. I'm giving it a 9 because of exactly what you just said. I didn't go into it expecting Dune. I think anyone going into it expecting Dune might need to have their brain checked, because that's a weird fucking way to go into Wolverine and Deadpool. I understand to some degree that people were kind of hoping to have even more of a thread of a story like the just bare bones Deadpool movies, because those were movies about Deadpool. Deadpool as a character breaks the fourth wall in the comics and shit all the time. That's his shtick. But in this one, it was not about furthering any major story. It was just about getting Deadpool and Wolverine on screen to have fun. And I think some people got upsetty spaghetti because it didn't have any of the even already kind of minimal story threads that the regular Deadpool movies did for actually providing some foundation for all the memes. This was just straight memes from beginning to end. The first 14 seconds, it's fucking NSYNC and a dude getting stabbed with Wolverine's femur in the dick to make it look like a dick. It's a boner joke. It's literally a bone becoming his.
Yes.
It's great. That is what it sets the tone.
Yes. Yes.
Immediately. And honest to God, I thought at some point in the film, am I going to get tired of all of this fourth wall shit? Or is it going to start to wear on me? And not one fucking time in the entire movie did I think to myself, oh, God, fucking did the thing. I did it again. Ryan Reynolds is so fucking good with writing and just walking the line between fatiguing you with Ryan Reynolds and still being funny that I never once thought anything like that. And the fact that they're still able to, like, and of course, because it's fourth wall breaking the fourth wall, they had moments where even other Deadpool, like Nice Pool, was breaking fourth wall, and they even made mention, like, you can't do that. What are you fucking, you're not allowed to do that. Like, everything was just, it was just really fun, stupid. It was great to see Hugh again, regardless. It's going to be weird when he's no longer Wolverine. It was also just nice to see them be able to get, for example, Channing Tatum in suit to do his thing, because that's been like hung out to dry, over and over again. We got to see Wesley, which apparently we're getting more of that, so that was kind of like a precursor to more Wesley. It was, like you said, it's fan service, and if you had to know going in as and so from a fan service perspective, it's a 9. The only reason why it's not a 10 for me with that is just that even in a fan service sense, which I went in assuming that, I would have liked the story to be a little more coherent. It wasn't bad. It's not like you couldn't draw a through line from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie and not and get lost along the way. Like, it was obviously very simple. But it just, maybe there was like a tad more that they could have done with that. But otherwise, I mean, my God, dude, Jesus Christ, this movie had so much shit going on in it. You could watch it 3 times and see new memes every fucking time you watch the film because they crammed it so full of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was good.
Exactly. The end, till you're 90. It was such a fucking, like, on the nose, literally, like, you're not getting away from this, Hugh. You are going to be Wolverine until you're fucking 90 years old, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, I mean, they'll just keep paying him
money to show up.
Exuberant amounts of money to show up, and he'll be like, well, if you're gonna pay me $30 million, I guess I'll
do you got
go
the
on
TRT
the TRT
on hand?
And I'll fucking do my fucking thing that I do. I don't give a shit. I mean, shit, give me fucking $20-30 million. I'll go on every steroid you want me to, and I'll be there, and everybody loves you doing it. At the same time, there's no downside for him, except for the fact that he's got to, train and probably, is tired of doing the same shit. But I mean, shit, you're going to pay you that much money. Hell yeah.
I don't think it's like we have to worry too much with spoilers. I'm not going to get specific, but I will say that I also loved that they managed to get Golden Boy Chris Evans in the credits to just fucking
he went nuts.
Just go off the rails for like 30-45 seconds straight. Everything was just great. It was just so fun.
What Deadpool did for me, it made me forget how shit Marvel's been. Yeah. And I just got to go and actually watch a fun Marvel movie.
Just have some fun.
Like everything else, it just is whatever. I know it was super contained. It wasn't expanding on much. It was fan service. It was like watching fan service the movie, you know,
As
from
they
one
said,
scene to the next.
He is not Marvel Jesus.
No.
He's not Marvel Jesus.
So, you know, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was fine.
Yeah, no, we both had a great laugh. We both, you know, we had a great time. Lots of actual, like, there's lots of movies that are funny, but not many of them get you actually like laughing out loud. I laughed out loud a few times watching that, and it was good. You know, Em had me rewind it a couple of times because she wanted to rewatch like a couple of like parts just to, you know, because she thought it was so funny, and so yeah, no, just a really fun. I want more of that in my life. Give me that. Give me silly, fun. Stop taking yourself so goddamn seriously. And I don't mean like in Marvel, where like Marvel has the now kind of tropey Marvel writing, where the quippy Marvel shit. I don't need more of that. I've had like, what, 13, 16 fucking versions of that? But just,
you know what happened there? You know what infected that was Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and it was such a hit.
Yeah, true.
And there was such good banter between all these characters. They just started doing that shit in every Marvel movie. It was like everything was like, it was like a punchline and a joke and a fucking this. And it's like, guys, man, like every single scene don't need to be this. It's starting to feel like a daytime sitcom show that like you're supposed to laugh on cue without the laugh track. Yeah. It's like, it was too much.
And you know what it did too? And I don't know if you feel this way too, but when they made that switch, is that it kind of made the individual movies lose their individual personality.
Yeah, feeling.
Like their individuality. Yeah. Everything started feeling the same.
Yes. Yeah. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Other than that, that's pretty much show. I don't think there was anything else that popped up for me that I can think of off the top of my head anyway. And so with that, it's time to do a little bit of the next segment called
Tech Support.
Patreon.com/LikeTV, the place to go if you want to financially support the podcast, both for just the podcast and if you're looking for another avenue, if you're watching this and you're also a avid StarCraft enjoyer, and you want to get in on that as well, then this is also a great way of doing it. If you're just looking for different ways in which you want to support, Patreon.com/LikeTV for $5 or more a month. You get a couple perks. Chiefly, you can ask us questions each and every podcast where we say a little tech support meme, and I post a post up on Patreon. You ask us questions. We give you answers in the time that we have. The Jubinator asks, which Brood War or StarCraft 2 Zerg unit would you keep as a tamed pet, and which one would you never want to try to keep? I mean, I ain't trying to keep no Ultralisk. Let's just be fucking keeping that a buck. Real quick.
Yeah, that's true.
That even if you could, that shit just expensive. I mean, how much does that thing eat?
Yeah.
In the run of a day?
Tame as a pet? I'm gonna go a Zergling.
Just a Zergling? It's like a dog, basically.
Yeah, it's like a little pet. Train him.
Man. Let me think. Yeah, probably. Because, like, the only other one that would almost make any sense size-wise would be, like, a Scourge from,
Yeah, but that thing will blow up.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, only if you piss it off, you know, you gotta...
It's just gotta bump into something. It just blow up.
It was like a Ford Pinto. It just like bumps into something slightly and explodes.
Yeah, I think so. Like it self-destructs, right? As soon as it touches something, it blows up. Whether it's a building of a fucking
true,
another unit. True. Can't pet it. Can't do nothing.
Let's see.
I mean, maybe an Overlord.
True, it's like a giant jellyfish, really.
Yeah, they're like harmless.
Grand scheme
and you could
things.
Yeah, and you could like, you know, train it to like carry you.
Get that upgrade?
Yeah.
Get that Overlord upgrade for the carry?
Why not? Why
not? Let's see. Zonix says resolutions are dumb, and he thinks New Year's resolutions. But if you can improve one thing in 2025 that over 2024, what would it be, and why?
Improve one thing over 2025. I'd say more family time. Just more specifically, I think more time for my wife and I. Just to go out, do more, because I mean we do, but it's like it's once every few months. You know, but my son's older. He's getting older now. He'll be 6 next month. So like he's at that age now where it's okay to like, you know, have grandparents just take him and he's fine, you know? So I think I it's probably a good one, and probably one that she'd like to hear me say
I
too,
would imagine.
So, yeah.
I would say I'm probably pretty similar in that, just in the, you know, life for Em and I has been such a fucking whirlwind here in the last couple of years, you know, from getting the house up through until the marriage, that we, you know, other than going on the trip back home to see her family and whatnot, you know, we so rarely get an opportunity to go out. You know, her schedule is, you know, a nurse's schedule is all over the place. It's 12 hours at a time. And so even if it's a day shift, by the time the shift is done, she is toasted. And so, you know, it's rare to have, you know, things line up and whatnot and to get us go. So that's definitely, I agree. I would say similar. And just in general, just family, just like, you know, with Em, and then also just seeing my parents more, and just in general would be nice to be able to try to work more of that in. I think all of this kind of works around a better time management. For me in general, is just try to like be more efficient with the time that I have, to try to get more healthy routines in, because a lot of my routines for the last few years have been, I wouldn't classify them as particularly healthy, so it'd be good to be able to be better with that this year, for sure. And it will be very important because, you know, Em and I are going to be trying later in the year to have our first child, and so I'm going to need to have some more of that structure as a default anyway. I'm going to have to, you know, rely on some sort of structure to keep the old train moving during times where there's
it's going to force you.
Exactly.
Oh, it's going to force you, because
so
like if
better,
you ain't
better to start early than wait.
Oh yeah.
And be caught in that. So so that's, yeah. So I would say that's probably, yeah, very similar in that regard, for sure. What kind of fucking question is this? This is so random. I don't even know if you know who this is. Do you know who Billy Mitchell is?
Sounds familiar.
Does the name
Billy
sound familiar?
Mitchell. One sec.
Billy
Mitchell. Is that from a movie?
Sort of. So King of Kong. So Billy Mitchell is the guy, American, who has been proclaiming to the point where he's been very litigious with people for an eternity who refute the fact that he's like the greatest Donkey Kong player.
Yes. I know, so you know who it is. I just
doctor's saying, is Elon Musk really just a Billy Mitchell in Diablo 4? Because apparently, you know, if Elon on Twitter constantly tweeting about the ranks for his characters on the Diablo 4 boards. I don't know. I will say this. It just strikes me as weird that anyone that has as many companies as he does, that is seemingly, or tells the world that he's involved with every one of those companies as much as he is, with as many children as he has, would somehow have enough time on his hands to be top 10 in the world at Diablo 4. That just seems weird to me. There's not that many hours in the day, and I don't care how much of a gigabrain the man is, there's only so many hours in a day. And he tweets like 1,200 times in a 24-hour period. I don't know where he could possibly get the time, but nevertheless, I mean, all the power to him, I suppose. If that's his shit, then, you know, go get him, Tiger. I don't know.
I don't know, and I couldn't give a fuck, to be honest.
No.
Diablo 4 is ass, but for whatever reason, he loves it. He's probably single-handedly selling more copies than what fucking Blizzard's ever done for the damn game. So
I wonder if he's going to get into Path of Exile 2, since that's going to, you know, that's just come out or dropping now, and it's kind of
I don't
basically
know.
over. It's
He starts
eclipsing.
tweeting about that and streaming that game. That game's gonna go bonkers too. So
Let's see. Dr. Samurai. Oh man, I mean, I already know the answer to this, but I just want Jeff's reaction. Do you think competition from Stormgate and others is why StarCraft has picked up a bit in the last 6 months?
no, it's picked up in the last 6 months because it went on Game Pass. Literally,
Yeah.
it just went on. It just went on Game Pass. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of casual people. And when you say pick up, have you not been hearing all the news of all these like long-term professional StarCraft 2 players just retired just flat out? And there's like no schedules for like any major tournaments coming up that we know of, and everybody's starting to freak out about it. So yeah, Adam's hearing something.
Give me 1 sec. I'll ask a question, then I'll go check. I feel like I'm hearing some weird shit upstairs. 1 sec. Okay, well, I'll save that one, Seth, until I get back. Okay. I don't even know if you have an opinion, but it's one that I can give you while I go. Ace High asks, what's your opinion on the RCMP? Have fun. I'll be right back.
Oh, the RCMP. I mean, I don't really have much of an opinion on RCMP. I've got RCMP officers. I have like a neighbor that's RCMP. There's multiple people that I'm close by that are RCMP. Yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about the RCMP, and they've always been chill to me. I've been pulled over a couple of times by RCMP officers, traveling out to the valley and different places like that, and they've always been nice. So I don't have any disdain towards the RCMP.
So, yeah, I don't even know where that contextually where that would have come from. I don't know if there's like something in the news that I'm unaware of or something, but the RC, for those who don't know what the RCMP is, it's the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. When people think of the memes of Canadian police riding horses with weird red jackets, that is the RCMP. Now that doesn't mean
but
that
they
every
also
RCMP,
drive cars.
Yes, the majority of the time they're on cars. It's just that there are units that are in towns that are traditionally on horseback. The RCMP is kind of like it's kind of just a secondary branch that's a national branch of the police force in a sense. So every province would have their own and every city would have like their own police force, like the the Halifax regional police here, for example. But the RCMP is a more nationalized police force of sorts. That has different responsibilities and similar responsibilities, and they are sprinkled across the country and whatnot for different things. The RCMP, in general, I would say, everything has flaws, but the RCMP in general is a slightly, it's a step or two up from a general police officer in terms of what's expected because they are nationalized and they're not just specific to a region. They also have investigation, like as mentioned in chat, their investigative unit is far more robust than your average police station or police headquarters would be, and so are relied upon more in that sense. They do a whole bunch of different stuff, but I don't know if I have any leanings one way or the other. I've never had any individual issues with them when they were involved with my home. Many years ago, when my homes were broken into, one time they were on the scene for that. Everyone I've ever talked to as an RCMP has always been great, respectful, clear, concise, to the point. They are, I would say, on average, they are a little bit more frank than police officers when you're speaking to them. But very nice and from what I've interacted with, very professional. So yeah, I don't have any. That's actually a great comparison. While it's not a one-to-one comparison, it would be kind of like the marshals in the U.S. It's a similar, so witness protection shit and other branches that aren't necessarily handled specifically by police forces. So yeah. And I gotta be honest, even though it's kind of like weird as a Canadian, I do kind of like going around in downtown Halifax, and occasionally you get the RCMP on horseback. It's kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of fucking dope. Yeah. You know? just it is. It is what it is. I'll save that one and see if I can get that one to you in the StarCraft stuff, Roran. Oh, there was one here from Seth. He said, Adam, finish this sentence. I'll be damned if my son or daughter. Oh, Lord. I mean, I don't think there's I don't think I've ever sat down and thought to myself, wow, I really hope my son or daughter isn't something, like they've choose a profession or something, or they like whatever. I don't think that's ever popped into my mind. I think like anyone, even before I have the kid, I think this is relatively universal, at least for halfway decent parents. You just want your kids to be happy and prepared to take on the world and all that entails. That's it. You got to make sure that they can navigate the world and just be happy. You get those two things, fucking hell. However they achieve the happy part, short of, some crazy shit, yeah, that's fine. I don't think I've ever had anything pop into my mind other than that. This is the easiest. This might be the easiest. I know what you're. Both of us will have the same answer. If you had to choose, Blainer asks, if you had to choose between shoveling all the snow around your house every day for a month, or eat every meal in a bowl with a fork and a knife if needed for a month, what would it be? Well, I can already tell you one thing. While I know that Jeff has great disdain for forks with bowls, and it was a pain point with Kayla for many years, where there was almost the marriage didn't happen at one point almost because there were forks and bowls. Shit got very real.
That wasn't that serious, but yes.
No, I know. I don't care. I don't care if it was soup. I'm eating soup with a fork rather than shoveling all the snow around my house daily for a month.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, no. Even I. I mean, I use my hands. I'll go old school. I'll go caveman shit. Before I do that, nah, fuck that. Give me a fork and a knife all day with a bowl. I'm gonna be salty, but not as salty as I will be out in the cold, fucking shoveling and blowing snow every day.
Oh my god!
If you told me like once a week for the winter, okay. Okay. Maybe. No, you know what? No, I'm still. You know what? No. I still can't. I don't know. I hate the snow. I think I hate the snow more than I do forks and bowls. I hate it.
Listen. I don't love shoveling snow, but I don't hate it. I just don't want to do it that frequently. That's too much. There, we had, back 2015, 16, 17, there was a stretch of years there where it would snow twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays, basically. So, like, spread out almost exactly throughout the week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. And when I say snow, I don't mean, like, it dusted the trees. I mean, it was like 20, 30 centimeters bi-weekly. Or not even bi-weekly, sorry, twice a week. And that was rough. I never want to experience that again. It was to the point where I couldn't see my neighbors when I was shoveling the snow. The snowbank was so tall that I could hear my neighbor shoveling snow on the other side of the snowbank, but I physically could not see them. And they weren't tall enough to throw the snow any further. I could still throw the snow up there, but they could not. And it got to the point where we couldn't even do that because if you threw the snow up on top, it would just roll off the other side into the other person's driveway. There was no room left. And so I had to start shortening my driveway from the back to the front to shovel less and less of it over time to give myself more room to pile snow.
Nah, fuck all that.
No.
Fuck all that, man.
That's a...
I got a snowblower and I still hate it.
Oh my God. Dad has one, and I occasionally, if it's real bad, if it's heavy at the bottom of the driveway, I'll snowblow at least just the bottom of the driveway. That shit. The rest of the driveway, if it's like relatively decent, I'll suffer through it. But like the bottom of the driveway, I hate it. And there is nothing worse than looking out into the road, seeing that that the snowplow went by, but it went on the other side, which means you're gonna shovel the bottom of your driveway, and then at some random point,
you gotta go do it again.
He's coming back around for your side that he didn't do the first time. And he's plowing your shit deep. And because it's been sitting out there with the salt in the road for like 8 hours,
bro. It
is
fucking
like 40
hard,
pounds per
crusty fucking, bro. It's shit. You're out there for fucking 2-3 hours slaving. You get in the house, you take all your wet clothes off, you jump in the fucking shower because you're sweating and you're just nasty. You get out. You get out there, you grab a coffee or whatever the fuck, grab some water, you chill out, and then you just see it. You see the plow come by, and he just fucks you again, and you realize, I better go out there now, because by the time I go out there later on tonight, I'm going to be fucking salty. I'm already salty, but the real salt happens when the shit hardens up, and you wait. Oh, bro. Oh, it's bad.
And it's always fun because you watch neighbors, and everyone has neighbors where they're the type that they will drive over the snow, for as long as they can before they're forced to shovel it. And at some point they're either going to rip the bottom of their car off, trying, or they're going to be forced to get out there, and you'll see them, and they'll be out there with like a fucking pickaxe to get through the shit.
Yeah, and you're just salty.
And that 2015 year. When it would snow Wednesdays and Saturdays, it would snow, then the temperature would rise, it would freeze the shit, or rain a bit, like sleet, then at night, the temperature would drop to like -8, -10, and flash freeze everything. And so one day, I quite literally did. I had to go to Dad's, I got his pickaxe, and I had to pickaxe my goddamn driveway for 3 hours time. And
it's brutal. It's brutal.
Never
again.
The worst. Never again.
It's the worst. It gets so bad that the snow on everything, we're talking your car, your grass, your driveway, everything. It's like ice. You step on it and it breaks like ice, and then you like fall into like the inners of the snow that's like fluffier, but there's this hard, thick fucking.
Or worse, you walk out onto your doorstep and you expect your foot to go through the snow, and it doesn't.
And it don't. You just slide. You're like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? My 200-pound body can't even make it through this? Is there snow underneath this thing? Like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, man. Canada.
And that's the worst feeling, because then you look, when that happens, you take a step out of the doorstep, your foot does not go through it, and then you look out of your driveway.
Oh, you're fucked,
and you have a shovel in your hand, and you're just like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, bro. Yeah. It's going to be a day.
You're going through it.
Going through it.
Yeah, bro. Well, speaking of going through it, hopefully we don't have to go through it again this week, but we do have some StarCraft to cast. I mean, it can't be worse than last week. Let's be honest. That shit was, that shit was down bad. But we will go and do that now. We will leave you with that for this week. Thank you very much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself. Patreon.com/LikeTV. Once again, if you want to financially support the podcast, or you're just looking for another way to support the StarCraft content. Indigestion just creeping up on me at the fucking finish line here. But yeah, we're out of here for this week. Until we see you guys next time, thank you once again. And until we do, stay safe out there. And peace.
Peace.